Oh yeah, one other thing. So I finished the book and I emailed my dad like 30 fucking times or 25 times, and nothing happened, no earthquakes or anything. And, I mean, I wrote the whole book. I'm like, what the fuck? It says they speak out of their mouth. So I'm like, well, I guess we have to put up a video together. He's an atheist. He's like, no. He's like, you need to figure out what you're going to do when this whole thing's done. In my mind, I'm like, you're fucked. Anyway, back in January, I posted on Reddit, and I'm like, on January 11th, and locust appeared that day in Mecca. And I was saying, oh, there'll be like 5-month period of anxiety, some global event. It's like the equivalent of like locust. Well, they showed up because God delivers, because that's what he does. But for me, I'm like, oh man, when I saw it, I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, I gotta wait 5 fucking months now? Like, I got no money, no whatever. So I posted on Reddit, I was like, yeah, I was wrong about everything. But in my mind, I knew, I was like, well, I did get the locust. These guys are fucked. So fuck them. My mistake, not God's. See, God delivered the locusts that aren't going to hurt men. They just fucking torment them for 5 months. And they're still there. In the Arabian Peninsula, there's like, fucking locusts that are, whatever. Exactly like fucking Book of Revelation says. But for me, I'm like expecting this big event because that's my expectation. Whereas God delivered exactly what he fucking said he was going to do. According to, because he's following and delivering on the Book of Revelation. But for me, I'm like, no. So I post on Reddit, even though I knew my whole thing was on January 19th, not the 11th, the 19th I was looking at to be 5 months before this final 13-month, 1 day and 1 hour period, for to slay the third part of men. So when I post on January 11th announcing January 19th, locust appeared that day. And I was like, man, motherfucker. So when January 19th rolled around and nothing crazy, actually something did happen on January 19th. It was the first report of anxiety due to climate change. And, they started with earthquakes in Alaska on the 19th, just as fucking planned. Good job, God. You did it again. Of course, I didn't get my global event because that was what I expected. My mind, what should happen, but what should is never right, because the only thing that is right is what God. Anyway, God's perfect. I'm not. So when the 19th rolled around, before I didn't even wait till the end of the day. I just posted and said I'm wrong. But in the back of my mind, I knew. I was like, well, I did get the locust 7 or 8 days prior on January 11th. And then, sure enough, there's this climate or this anxiety report out of Anchorage, Alaska, saying people are fucking afraid. They want to move because they're so banged up from all these like earthquake aftershocks, which are still hitting there. Anyway, my mistake was saying I was wrong. And I left it vague, and I described this in the book because I'm like, man, fuck those Reddit atheists. But it's just like, I fucked up. I mean, I should, I had an opportunity to just be like, no, guys, look, there's locusts. But then I just knew that guys just fucking talk shit. I laid out everything for them. I was like, got a trumpet announcement on the same day as my original confession, my confession post on April 4th of last year. They're like, oh, it's just a coincidence. I'm like, dude, fuck you, man. This whole thing, and now I realize it's just a warning. All Revelation is a warning for believers to say, look, the end is nigh. You guys had since April 4th of last year when I started posting all this shit to just basically be on vacation. Be like, oh yeah, this is the guy, but no one listened. So by the time January 19th rolls around, I'm just like, yo, fuck you guys. Of course, atheists would never listen anyway. But even Christians, I mean, you just think the whole thing's fucked. So my point is, God, I'm sorry about that. I did note it in my book and say, well, I just, deal or give them some shock value later. But then, of course, on April 9th, when I sent the first final, but the first final version of the book. It sounds weird, but what it was is it just anticipated I would email my dad a shitload of times, which I included in the book. I'm like, I'll just email him, and if I don't get a shitload of earthquakes, then God doesn't exist. Well, I fucking sent him the book, sent other people the book, said that there would be earthquakes on April 9th, emailed him a shitload of times, and no earthquakes. You know, and that was my mistake again, because it says the two witnesses, they speak out of their mouth. Now, I'm assuming that the second witness is my dad, because these two witnesses retrieve the Ark of the Covenant, which is his whole theory as an atheist, that the Ark of the Covenant is under the Heelstone at Stonehenge. But it could be my brother. I don't see it being my brother, but then again, that's my expectation, not what I mean, it could be him, because God knows the perfect second witness. My point is, I fucked up with that, just like I fucked up back last year in May, when I had a prophecy to fucking, I was going to win the lottery. I admitted that in the book too. My point is, I cleaned up the book, you know, and I published it, the final version. There's a couple typos, one in basically the second page of the fucking book, for the author's foreword, F-O-R-W-A-R-D, which is wrong. It should be F-O-R-E-W-A-R-D. But I'm like, I'm not going to change it. Of course, it makes it look fucking stupid. But that, and then I end the book saying, well, I emailed my dad and nothing happened. I told him, you know, read this book and then also read my mom's. He's like, yeah, I'll get to him one day later. So the second witness doesn't even give a shit. Or who I think the second witness is doesn't even give a shit. So where does that leave me? That leaves me with 63 or 62 days left until the end of this 5-month period. Now, I don't know if the 5 months ends on the 11th of June, to be 5 months after January 11th, or if it's on the 19th of June, to be 5 months after January 19th. My gut tells me it's 5 months after January 19th, but I don't know. And then when I posted on April 9th, I posted to Reddit saying there's gonna be earthquakes today, and they're just like, this guy's mentally ill. No one really even commented. I think I got 11 comments instead of my usual 40 to 200. My point is, I feel like everything's kind of shaky right now. All my doing, not God's, mine. So I got a book up. It shows all my fuck ups. It says June 19th to June 19th of this year, June 19th of 2019 until July 20th of 2020 is your hour, day, month, and a year period. And that's the final part, like bowls of fucking wrath. And the thing is, in the book I'm describing climate change, but it's God. You just don't know. What I think is going to happen is he's just going to, this is his grand finale. So he can bring out anything. He can facilitate a war happening. He can facilitate a bomb dropping. He can facilitate earthquakes. You know, all this shit. He can do it any way he wants. The point is, the idea is to think about June 19th of this year through July 20th of next year as a start and finish. And at the start date, there is a population of 7.6 billion or however many are on the planet. And at the end date, on July 20th, 2020, there's going to be 5 billion people. Now, however he gets there, no one knows. Like, that's his thing. He solves for that. But we're not going to think about, or the idea is to not think about the method, all the stuff in between, to just think about cause, beginning of the period, leads to effect, end of period. And he fills in all the blanks. Just like the 5 months of anxiety / locusts, he filled that blank in saying, no, we're going with locust in Mecca, not James's thing, because I'm not God. I think the whole exercise is to prove that I don't know what the fuck, I don't know, I'm not God. You know, I don't know how this story ends or how we get there. I know how it ends, but I don't know how we're going to get there. And I think that's the whole point, is to just see some guy eat shit and admit to all the stuff that he fucks up along the way, showing whatever he expected was different, but he stuck with it. So God, I'm hoping that I'm absolved of, my sort of, I don't know, playing your role, because I'm obviously not you. I'm just reporting the fucking story. So if you can find it in your heart to forgive me, then I don't know what to do about Reddit. I certainly don't think I should post there anymore. I don't think it was a good idea to post there on April 9th anyway, because I told the guys I'm not going to post there anymore, and I did, because I wanted to get traction. It was like, oh, just email my dad, boom, boom, boom. So I don't know, but the book's up. I accounted for that flub. I don't know if I made it clear, because I did say, well, only God knows the specifics, and only God knows when he announces. And by announces, I mean when the world finds out that I've been doing this, been on this journey for however long, since, 2017. But the clock, according to Revelation, he's following that as a playbook in his way. So the clock starts for that final period on June 19th or June 11th, depending on whether January 11th in the locusts or January 19th with the anxiety report started the 5-month clock. I don't know. But I mean, if I'm going by Revelation as a playbook, then the idea it would be this, that 5 months before that final 13-month and a day and an hour period would have been January 19th. And when I announced that on January 11th, he gave the locusts, but those were the literal translation of Revelation. I think it's chapter 9. I know it's chapter 9. But the real issue is the anxiety. And that was delivered right on time on January 19th. So, there you have it. So God, I'm sorry. I would like to keep playing this game with you. But I understand if you want to find someone else. I feel like I got the whole fucking thing clocked. I mean, the whole thing clocked at this point. Because now it's just you kick back and you wait until January 19th. Or the 11th. June 19th or the 11th. But it's got to be the 19th. Because that would be exactly 5 months after January 19th. And exactly a year, a month, a day, and an hour before July 20th, 2020. And the reason when I say it's exactly with that hour, it's like, well, how does the hour play into a whole day? And the answer is, Trump took office on January 20th of 2017 at noon Eastern time. So if you go 42 months from then you're looking at July 20th, 2020 at noon Eastern time. But when you tack on that extra hour, when all the riches of the world come to naught, i.e. we roll out of a money-driven system and into a free system powered by God, then you're looking at exactly July 20th, 2020 at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you take that hour out and then backtrack a day, a month, and a year, then you get to June 19th, 2019 at noon Eastern. If that makes sense. So there's 13 minutes of stuff. I know all this sounds nuts, but when whoever sees this, whenever you guys see this, whoever watches this, you have to understand the system in which I'm operating is the system that no one's operated in wholly, even I'm still figuring out, in 2,000 years. So it goes against everything that we know to be true in 2019, the 21st century. It's like, dude, this all sounds crazy. I'm not crazy. And God's not crazy. He has a logic, but I'm interpreting a totally new system, which will sound crazy. You know what I mean? So. That's what we got. See you guys.